So, day after tomorrow, I have my HRM exam, Human Resource Management, which is a very fancy name for a very boring subject. So, early on, we were, as a human species, very nomadic people, just roaming around the vast planet and stopping where we find water and where we find food and then moving on. Then there was the agricultural revolution, which changed the way human societies organized themselves. And then there was the industrial revolution, which led to the emergence of new subjects such as management and human resource, HRM management. Now, this subject deals with managing humans, aka workers and employers and employees, and the government and the administration and the officials and the power dynamics between them and the conflict of interest that they have and their psyche and their emotions and what they want and what the other party wants and the conflict between them and so on and so forth. So, some of interesting things that I did notice here. Now, there's a lot I can discuss, but I will mainly focus on 2 points: the grievance procedure and the trade unions. So let's begin with grievance procedure. So when an employee or a worker has some sort of problem or did face some injustice or a really misconduct on part of the employer, then he has a grievance, he has a problem. So there's a procedure termed as grievance procedure by which he can get justice and he can get his problem sorted out. But the process happens to be way too long and way too complicated. Look, I've written this down. I don't think you can read this. Can you read this? It's extremely complicated. Also, my handwriting is really bad. I'm going to read this out. So the grievance goes to the designated officer who is responsible for, taking in the complaints, which is the designated officer, and you have to give this officer 48 hours to respond. Okay? But then, of course, he cannot solve your problems. So then you go to your trade union. And then the union approaches the head of the department under which you work, the HOD. The HOD will not take 48 hours. It'll take 3 days. Okay, good. It'll take 3 days. But then the HOD will also probably not solve your problem. So then you, with your union, will go to the grievance committee. Grievance committee. Oh, finally, you come to the committee which is responsible, okay? So the grievance committee will take, it won't take 3 days. It'll take 7 days. It'll take an entire week. Okay, it'll take an entire week. But then probably the committee will also not be able to solve your problem. So then you will go to the big boss sitting at the top, the CEO, who will also take 1 week to respond. And then in case the CEO also cannot solve your problem, then you will appeal to the court, the district court, then maybe the state court, and then the Supreme Court. And you know what nonsense Supreme Court is in this country, right? So that is the entire process, like a Spider-Man web over there, going here, there. And the process is so long, बेचारे बंदे का तो इंतकाल ही हो जाएगा इंतजार करते करते. That's one problem that I have with grievance procedure. It's so long. I mean, the bureaucracy and the hierarchy is so complicated and so dense and so interconnected, interrelated, self-conflicting that nothing actually happens or gets done on time. So I think we need to have a very flatter structure in corporate world. We need to have a more flatter, direct, one-to-one connect on everybody. That way, I think we will have a more democratic and a more distributed power amongst people, and things will move faster. The second thing is the trade union and their ability to protest. So the problem with trade unions in India is that there are just so many trade unions, and each trade union has so few people, and then one industry will have many trade unions because everyone has their own opinion and everyone carries around their own ego on their shoulder. So it's like खिचड़ी बन जाती है और किसी का कुछ भी काम नहीं होता है. But that is another topic. I will not go into that. The thing I want to discuss is the right to protest. What's funny is, if you're not happy, if the union is not happy, and the people working in a company are not happy, they can protest. But The funny thing is, they have to notify in advance to the management and the administration that they're going to protest or demonstrate 1 week in advance. That kind of does not make sense to me. Because if you do something wrong to me, I will get really angry, and anger is spontaneous. You cannot say, I will not say to you, I am so angry at you right now. I will tell you how angry I am 1 week later. That doesn't make sense, right? If I'm angry right now. If you're saying that I can only express my anger 1 week later, it's making a mockery out of my concern. That doesn't make sense. And if you tell me where exactly I can protest, how exactly I can protest, then you have basically nullified the entire concept of freedom of expression in a sense. I do believe that there should be barriers and there should be restrictions so that things don't get out of hand, so that you maintain the boundaries of a civil society, so that you don't turn to violence. All that I do understand. But it is the way you can protest, and the restrictions on protest and demonstrations and strike is just so much for anybody. I feel that it's not really protest anymore. They're just telling you that, okay, this is a democracy. Okay, you can let us know that you're angry, but you can let us know after a week, and you can only stand over there and do certain things, and then we might consider your demands. I mean, it's a very unequal distribution of power, a very unequal distribution of concern, and I think you're just making fun out of people's worry. I mean, if someone is really hurt and so hurt that they want to demonstrate, then they better demonstrate. And if you can tell them and you can judge the course of action of their protest, then really you have all the power and they do not have power. Even though they have unions, they have the right to protest. I think it's very artificial and very superficial. That's my rant actually, because I have so much to study right now, and like I'm just lost in all of this, so I'm a bit frustrated. So this is my rant at Human Resource Management. Assalamu alaikum.